She wanted you to have that.
It was my grandmother's. I never knew her.
It's beautiful.
What's going on, everybody? Bambi here, and today I got a brand new video for you. I got a new theory discussion that I want to discuss with you guys, and this one, you know, thinking about it for the time that I have been thinking about it, this one kind of makes a lot of sense. But you know, there's a lot to talk about, and you can probably see from the length of this video, there's a lot to talk about in this. So, you know, if you want to stay and watch, thank you for that. You know, thank you for watching the video and all this stuff. And by the way, major spoilers right here, so if you don't want to get spoiled, please stop watching this video right now. This talks about the ending of the game. This talks about what happens at the ending. It talks about the story of it, all this stuff. And today, this is where it all happens. And I got some HORDE gameplay right here for you. Nothing too serious, nothing too, you know, big and great. Just something just to record for you guys to watch while I talk about this. Anyway, so today, this is discussion that I've been thinking about for the past few days after beating the game on Insane, which is a bitch, by the way. I noticed something at the very end of the campaign. You see something happen. You see something happen where Reyna is pretty much just like destroyed. She is like just gone, you know, and it's hard to really, you know, put into words. But what happens is, before all this stuff happens, before the swarm comes, you know, all this stuff is happening between the DBs, which is, you know, the COG versus the Outsiders. There's this big war, well, not war, but this big disagreement between the two. And Commissioner Jin, the new like commander, I guess, you know, similar to Prescott and stuff like that, has all their people missing. She has all her people in her settlement and all that stuff missing. And so, who gets blamed? The Outsiders. JD, Del, Kate, Oscar, Reyna, and all the Outsiders all together. They all get blamed for something that's not really their fault. And so later down the road within the actual game, you see why they're getting blamed. You see why, you know, what actually happens to the people that's actually being taken. You know, they're getting taken by the swarm, the new enemy of the group. So, with that being said, you got a little bit of a backstory on that, and you actually get to see how everybody gets captured. You know, it was shown in the one of the trailers. Yeah, it was a launch trailer, excuse me. One of the trailers where you see a bunch of people just getting taken. You see Reyna getting thrown against a barn, you know, and you see Oscar getting taken by a snatcher. Well, that correlates to what I'm trying to actually say right now. And what happens is, everything just goes to shit. You know, at the beginning, you see the DBs versus the Outsiders. You know, Jin, like I said, is trying to like say that their involvement in it and stuff like that. And they took the fabricator that was, you know, that they needed to power up some things. You know, all that stuff. So a lot of fighting and a lot of battles are going on right now as we speak in the actual game. So there's a big war going on right now between those two. And now things are going haywire. So at the end of a certain part within the game, Reyna is pissed off about JD and Del for, you know, not getting the fabricator without starting a little mini war between the Outsiders versus the COG. Okay, so now here comes the part where, you know, this theory really comes into play. After all of that, during the night of the game, Kate is sitting by a window, and JD and Del are actually sitting there working on the fabricator, making sure they can get power to the whole settlement and things like that. They're making sure that things are running well, running smoothly, you know, without any hiccups. And that's fine. That's a good thing. But then Kate notices something that's a little out of the ordinary. She hears something. She hears all these different types of, you know, noises from these like creatures, I guess, and then all hell breaks loose. You hear a bunch of people screaming, you hear a bunch of people crying, stuff like that, and then nobody knows what's happening. Nobody knows like what the hell is going on with the situation, you know, how bad it's going to be and stuff like that. So Kate, Del, and JD go to investigate. When they go to investigate, Reyna locks them into the actual barn that they're in, you know, this little area that they're in. And then upon that whole little fight sequence and stuff like that, you know, between, you know, the Swarm and the Outsiders, Reyna gets captured. In a way, she gets beat up mainly, and what you're about to see on the screen, she gets beat up pretty badly. And what's weird is she is the only one out of all of the actual people in the Outsiders, like all of them, she's the only one who did not get taken by a Snatcher. And that's why this really comes into play with this theory. Is Myrrah Reyna's mother? Now, this may sound really fucking weird, and you might think like, how, like, what are you talking about? Well, like I said before, everybody got taken by a Snatcher, but Reyna was the only one that got special treatment. She was the only one that got taken by the Scion Elite. He personally took her. He personally decided that she was more of importance than anybody else, which doesn't make sense. Why was Reyna so more important than, you know, anybody else that was actually taken by the Swarm? Why was she taken by the Scion Elite purposely? You know, it could be either one, that she is like the one who actually fought back against him, or two, that he sees her as a, you know, as the hierarchy, you know, the one that's, you know, who runs the shots in the organization between the Outsiders, which she actually is. So that could be a thing. But my thing is, at the end of the game, you see Reyna pretty much dying. She is dying. Like I said, this is spoilers. She's dying, and Kate has to cut her out of this hive-looking thing. You know, like all these things are attached to her body and her skin and stuff like that. She can't really move. So, with all that being said, it sounds like she was being processed differently than anybody else, which doesn't make sense. Why her? What makes her so special? Now I'm thinking that Myrrah gave her this amulet, right? Now if Myrrah is actually Reyna's mother, then that's fucking ridiculous. But this little amulet that Reyna has, it has the Outsider logo on it. It's a square. It's a square with the Outsider like design, or some type of, you know, crazy design that is, you know, at first glance you wouldn't think it would be, you know, something Locust related, but then you actually get to see the actual thing. Like you saw at the beginning of this video, you saw Kate hold up this amulet, and she held it up as it looked like a diamond. She held it up as in a diamond formation, and what do you see? The actual Locust insignia. Now the thing is, the Locusts, even though how crazy and, you know, ridiculous they were, they actually did have their own like tags, like COD tags. They had their own versions. If you play Gears of War 2, you can see this. It's one of the collectibles to Gears of War 2 that you could actually get, and they had their own type of actual tags, which is ridiculous to say the least. So for Reyna to have something like that, you know, there's two possibilities. One, Reyna's real mother, you know, not Myrrah, is the one that actually found it, carved something into it, and decided to, you know, give it to her as something, you know, like that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that little theory. It doesn't make sense. Here's why. Reyna looks to be about in her what, 40s, maybe 50s, okay? The Locust War was over 25. It's been over for 25 years. Okay, so if you take that into consideration, Reyna will probably be in her 20s or so, you know, during the actual fight against the Locust. You know, she would actually be about that old. Now, if you take that in consideration, 17 years have passed since the first, you know, since E-Day. So take back another like 17 years from Reyna, and she's probably in her maybe like I don't know, like she's a little kid probably at the time, maybe. I don't know. She looks really old though. That's what I'm trying to say. She's not like hella old. I'm not saying that, but she's younger than Marcus. I can tell she's younger than Marcus, but she's old enough to have Kate as a daughter to be the age that she is, because JD is about in his 20s as well. JD is about in his 20s, Dell's about in his 20s, and Kate, I can assume, is about in her 20s as well. So they weren't alive during the Locust War. None of them were alive during the Locust War. We know this because Reyna didn't become an outsider until after the war was over. So they weren't alive until then. Now here's my thing. How did Reyna get that? Because the Locust didn't emerge until like after the Pendulum Wars. That's when the Locust came. 2 years after the Pendulum Wars, the Locust came. Now, how old Reyna is, like I said, she's probably in her 40s or so. 17 years plus another 25. How is that? That's about what, 42 years? It's 42 years at, you know, all in the same fact. So if that's the case, then Reyna, let's say Reyna's in her 40s. If that's the case, then how is it that she got that? Where did she get that from? You know, if it's Myrrah, if Myrrah is her mother, then Myrrah gave it to her before she died, at some point before she died. Now here, I understand, Myrrah is technically an outsider. She is a human being. We know this. She is not a locust. She's not really a locust. She's an actual human being. And now, well, how do we know this? Because she has the features of a human. All female locusts are berserkers. We know this. Female locusts are berserkers. That's something that's been established. That's how a majority of the actual locusts are born. Almost every locust is born off of a berserker. You know, the drones, they have sex with the berserkers, and they produce more and more and more, like that. So, if that's the case, then how is it that Myrrah is the only one that is not an actual drone, or one that looks like a drone, or, you know, it looks like a grenadier with whatnot? Well, it's because she is an outsider technically. See, here's the thing about the locust that people don't understand and don't really, you know, get, is that the locusts, I don't want to say we're created by humans, but human beings, or Adam Phoenix and Myrrah knew about the locust, and I'm pretty sure a bunch of other people knew about the locust prior to this as well, because in Gears 3 you see Adam Phoenix talk about the Lambent. Now, how can he know about the Lambent before, you know, he died? He died really early within the actual War of the Locusts. He died. So how can he know about the Lambent like that? Even Dom and Marcus, you know, question that. They don't understand how that makes sense. So he knows about the Lambent, and now he must know about the Locust. Now, if he knows about the Locust, he's known for a while now, and Myrrah and him have history. So they have something to do with the Locust. Adam Phoenix has something to do with the Locust in some regard. Now, we don't know where Myrrah's from, really. I mean, there's just nobody knows. Nobody really knows where she's from. But the thing is, she has to be something, because for her to just come up and be queen of the locusts, of creatures that would just kill any human on sight, it's kind of weird. So my theory is she has actually she was actually there to actually support the locusts and try to make them become, you know, this race or something, you know, to live off with the people and stuff like that. But the scientists who can technically created them, this is all theories, none of this is fact, by the way. The scientists that actually technically created them helped actually, the ones who actually helped create them didn't like it and set them off into the hollows. Myrrah, seeing that as, you know, just really disrespectful and just, you know, really fucked up, decides to, you know what, we're gonna take back what belongs to us. So she decides to take up the hierarchy of the locusts and be the actual locust queen, something that they can look up, the hierarchy that can take them somewhere so they can get away from all this emotion, so they don't turn into Lambent like some of them have. So that's when this whole war starts. Technically, that's how it actually started. That is actually something that's true. The war of the locusts versus the humans was basically because Myrrah did not, Adam Phoenix did not have a countermeasure for the Lambent or the actual emotion. So they wanted to get out of the hollows so none of them become that way anymore and destroy all human life, so that way they can live on the actual, you know, above ground and become the new dominant species. That's how it was for them. Now, that's what we know. We know this thing. So at some point, Myrrah had all this stuff built, because let's be real, the locusts, for as big as they are and things like that, they're not the smartest. So somebody had to make it to where they know how to build certain things, build these big ass castles and shit down in the hollows that Myrrah was in. You know, find a way to take control of these, you know, creatures that live in the hollow before the locusts came there. You know, somebody had to give them this type of, you know, idea and these thoughts and these, you know, directions. Who else but Queen Myrrah, the person who actually showed them some type of kindness and some sort of actual careness within their life. So she takes it upon herself to take that role. Now, how does this involve Reyna? Well, my thing is, why not make Reyna the next in line? see, here's the thing. We know somewhat that the Locust and the Swarm are connected in a way. You see that in the actual campaign. They're connected. So why is it such a stretch that they know about Reyna? What if they know about Reyna and that's why they took her to become this thing? You know, this thing that's gonna, you know, feed off of the hive, so where they can, you know, make it, you know, better for them. You know, maybe it's something in the blood. Like I said, this is all theories. None of this is fact, and this is all up into interpretation on how you feel and how you think about it, because at the end of the day, none of this is going to be concrete or anything is going to be revealed, and probably until either some DLC come out or Gears of War 5 comes out and, you know, tells a little bit more within the actual story. Because I just find it a little weird and a little awkward how they show Reyna holding this amulet, and then on the other side is the Locust symbol. Who could have given her that? Now, like I said, I think it's Myrrah in some regard. Maybe because, you know, she can be like, okay, so here's the thing. Myrrah is a queen, right? What's next after a queen? If there's a queen, there always has to be a princess. What if Reyna knew her mom was Myrrah and knew about all these different things and carved the actual Outsiders logo onto like a Locust tag, like a Locust insignia, you know, the one we saw Kate holding? What if she carved that into it to not, you know, to put that past behind her? You know, because every time you see that, it's always showing the Outsider symbol. It's never showing the Locust symbol until the very last cutscene. So what if that is how it's actually happening? What if, you know, Myrrah knew about Reyna? What if Reyna knew about Myrrah being her mother, decided to get away from all that, or, you know, just get out of that type of situation? Because Oscar is not Reyna's brother, excuse me. Oscar is not Reyna's brother. That is fact. Oscar is Kate's father's brother. Oscar is Reyna's sister-in-law. No, brother-in-law. Damn it, I keep fucking up. Anyways, that's what we know. So they're not related in that essence, because Oscar is hella older than Reyna. You can see that. He is hella older than her. So right now, all this talk is just a bunch of theories, a bunch of ideas that I'm just spewing out there, and I would love for you guys to, you know, tell me what you think. Tell me if this is, you know, something that could be believable, because yeah, they showed it off and showed the Locust insignia and it's pretty much just screaming like, hey, Reyna is Myrrah's daughter. Yeah, that could be a thing, but at the end of the day, that's still too vague. Even though we have that is vague as fuck. That could be anything. She could have got that from anywhere, you know. So that's my idea. I mean, for God's sake, Reyna and Myrrah really don't look alike. I mean, it's kind of hard to really judge that because Myrrah doesn't appear in this game at all, and the only way we can really say that is from UE. But UE, they always change, like for each Gears, they change the design of their faces, so that's kind of hard to really say. So for Gears 5, they're pretty much going to probably change some things as well. So who knows? But right now, man, this is all theories. This is all something I want to discuss with you guys in the comments. You know, if you really want to see more of these like theory discussions about Gears, because I have a few more that I have in my head that I want to actually talk about. So if you guys like these, you know, let me know, because I really enjoy making these videos. You know, these videos are actually boosting up my channel. I almost have 520 subscribers right now. You know, this is awesome. I went up from 460 something to like 500 in like a few weeks because of these theory discussions, and it's so awesome. I really appreciate it. You know, you guys are the best, the ones who actually support me, not those people who are always like put me down and dislike my videos because they don't like what I have to say. You know, the ones who actually, you know, subscribe to me, welcome. I'm Bambi. I make a bunch of different videos. Thank you for tuning into my videos. You know, the ones who subscribe to me, you obviously like something that I do, and I really appreciate it. And those who've been with me, thank you. And you know, it really means a lot to me. But anyways, this is the end of the video. I want you guys just to talk about this in the comments. Tell me what you think. Let me know what you have to say. And yeah, you know, this is pretty much the end of it. Subscribe for more Gears of War 4 content. I'm going to put up some more gameplays, more theories, more different things about Gears of War entirely. I love this series, so I want to talk more about it. Like the video if you enjoyed it. You know, subscribe for more Gears of War. And yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. Really appreciate all of you who support me, so thank you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.